So in the last session, we have started the basic idea regarding how we can create a test case. So basically what is JUnit? And for that we understand the basic idea regarding that JUnit is a unit testing framework itself. I have notified a very first time that JUnit is kind of a unit testing framework which is in Java. Also same like if you are trying to do a scripting into the .NET language or a C# language, then in that case the unit testing framework by which you can create a test case, that will be an unit. If you are going for a Ruby on Rails or another Python and those kind of a language for the scripting, then will be RSpec. So there are a lot many unit testing framework as per the scripting language that you are choosing. But if you are going for the Java language under which you are trying to do the scripting, then it will be the JUnit thing. So ideally the JUnit is something which can help you out to create a test case rather writing down your code into the main method. So the testers are most often involved into the test case. What they require is whatever the expected versus actual result they are doing manually. That is actually known as a test case terminology. If it works fine and if the results are matching and conclusive as per the expected versus actual, then that is actually known as a test case. So ideally, if I want to create a such kind of test case into the Selenium WebDriver, then Eclipse supports inbuilt unit testing framework named as JUnit. So ideally, the JUnit it is something that is known as unit testing framework which is written into the Java programming language, and it is quite of important whenever you are trying to do the scripting or you want to do the scripting with the help of Java language. So that is why it is known as a test-driven development when you are putting down some methods and the annotations that is required so far. So ideally, if you can see here, whenever you are converting your script, even as a beginner level, you have converted these two scripts, that was RC demo and WD demo. So by doing this RC demo and the WD demo, where from the Selenium IDE we have converted the script even after in that one as well, by default, without actually knowing about what is Selenium RC and the WebDriver, we have copied out the code of Java by converting from the Selenium IDE. So if you can able to run it with the right click on it with the run as option, by default it was showing you the JUnit test option. So why it is showing you the JUnit option? Because whenever I'm copying out that Java code into one of the class file by converting my script, mostly it will be written into the methods, and those methods will be managed by the annotation, and those annotations are of a JUnit annotation. You will not able to run it as a Java application because we do not have any main method. Whenever we have learned the Java, at the time itself I have notified that if you want to run a script or if you want to run a Java code, then by default itself it will give you the option to run it as a Java application if it's a main method declared over there in your code. But whenever we are converting it, I can able to see that no main method will be there, and all in all it is relying on to the methods, and those are the Java methods. I can say that is public void setup, then test untitled. This is a converted code, right? We have not done anything, or we have not even created any script right now. It is a totally converted code where I'm just going through the walkthrough of a code where I can just make you understand that how the annotations will be used in a default converted script. And if I want to write down a script, then what can be the skeleton that I have to develop or I have to prepare to make it as a good test case by my own. So right now we are just going with the converted code of Selenium RC or a WebDriver, where I can able to see those all rely on to the annotations named @before, @after, and @test. Where @before it is something which is notifying the environment that I want to set up. That is setup method I can able to see. You can give any method name over here. Let's start, initiate, anything. But this is kind of a default method. It is appearing whenever we are converting our code. So that will be a setup method under this @before annotation. So whatever the browser initiation that you want to do, like whatever the browser you want to open up, those all stuff or those all command will goes out over here under the setup method. Similarly, if you want to quit the browser, if you want to close the browser, in that case, whatever the browser that we have initiated, then after if you want to close it, then or if you want to kill it, then it will be most often covered up under to the tear down method that is known as @after. The annotation is now named as @after. Similarly, what are the core operations that we are doing, like if you are typing something into the text boxes, if you are selecting any checkbox or drop down values, then that is actually a core part or an operation that we want to do. So that's why it is appearing as a taste method over here with the name taste untitled, and that will come under to the @taste annotation. So ideally, that can be a multiple type of or multiple number of @taste annotation we can have. But as I mentioned, this is a converted code. If you want to create a fresh JUnit test case, then how you can create it? So you have to create a fresh project named JUnit. I have already created the project. It is the same Java example project that we have gone through. Like first of all, you have to create a project, then we have to create a package of it, and then we have to create a class. But the only variance is that once you will create a package, then after we have to create a test case, and the test case will be created in a different context than the normal Java class. And how it will be declared? So once you will create a package, you have to do a right click on it. After clicking on to the right click on it, you have to go for the new option. After referring for the new option, you will be able to see the other option. Under that other option, by default, it will show you a Java option. Here you can see a list of options, that is general, CVS, Git, Java, plugin development, and all those. Even the test ng is there as well, because I have already installed in my system, that's why. But taste ng is something which is actually an alternative of JUnit. But talking about the JUnit now, first of all, to create a test case, I will have to go for the Java. I will explore it. Once you will explore Java, you can able to see the option that is JUnit. After selecting the JUnit option, you have to explore that as well, where it is showing you the one option name is like to create a JUnit test case or to create a JUnit test suite. So it is somewhat a class of Java, but it is written in a test case so that whatever the expected versus actual result we will have, it will show that to you. So right now I'm notifying as a JUnit test case. Once I will do a next, you have to give a good name of a test case. So in my case, it is the first example of a JUnit. So I'm giving as first JUnit demo. The thing is that what is required whenever we are notifying the JUnit test case, the setup and the tear down methods that will be @before and @after. Means ideally whatever the browser I want to initiate, that will come under to the @before means setup method, and whatever the browser that I have initiated, if I want to close that browser, it will be called up into the tear down method that will be @after annotation. So by default, I'm checking these two methods so that we do not have to write down over there. And once I will do a finish, automatically it will just create a one new test case having the skeleton. By default, I do not have to declare anything. It will be predefined, declared as a setup, tear down, and test method. These all are the Java methods, you can say, that is predefined. You can just change this name, that is okay if you are creating it by own. But as I'm creating it with the help of test case from right clicking on it and the new option, so that's why it is directly coming out at a setup. So it will be by default, it is just calling those all imports that is required to deal with all this annotation. So let's say if at a one point you are writing down the script by your own, then how you can do it? So let's say I'm removing this all annotations, then it will suggest you like this. If you are notifying with that before, make sure that it is kind of a case sensitive thing. So that's why then after B should be in the capital. So it will be before, after, and taste will be there. But it will be automatically coming out over here, so you do not have to worry about it. So let's say if you are writing down your own, then you can able to see such kind of error. and in that case you have to click onto this red highlighted mark where they will suggest you whatever it can be. So it will be at that before I can able to see that you can call. Similarly, you can also call at that after and at that test. In the at that test, it will suggest you two kind of annotations. So ideally, right now as TestNG is already configured, that's why it is showing two imports. I have to go for the JUnit because we are dealing with the JUnit, and right now I have not implied or I have not implemented any annotation over here. So that's why it is showing as not yet implemented or anything. So I will delete this one. Now this is ideally a structure that is required to define a test case. So going with the theoretical part, we have to understand what are the most popular annotations that we have to use. Till now, any doubt?
Yes, I do have some questions. So JUnit is already inbuilt in Eclipse, right? You don't have to
Yes.
download it or something. Okay. And what is similar to JUnit? Like if we are comparing, like, Java, C Sharp, those are the languages. So what other frameworks are comparable to JUnit?
That is TestNG. I was just recently notified that TestNG is already installed. So test generation, it is a similar kind of a unit testing framework that you can use in replace with the JUnit. But
So
that is not inbuilt in the Eclipse.
oh, okay. So TestNG not in Eclipse. Any other thing which they might ask, like in the interview or something?
If it's a Java
Uh-huh.
under which you are doing the scripting, then the JUnit and the TestNG is required as a
Uh-huh.
knowledge. If you are going for a C# language for a scripting, then in that case the unit testing framework will be NUnit.
NUnit, okay, okay. And one more question. This is not for JUnit, but in Java, we have to know that inheritance and what is that polymorphism or something? Do we
See,
need to know that or no?
Yeah, Java is quite vast. You can just do
Right.
expertise for sure. But the thing is that
For
Selenium, it is something like, say, if you are going with the Selenium, what
uh-huh.
you are required is the basic understanding about the OOPS, and definitely the polymorphism and the inheritance is OOPS. It is a
Right,
part of
right,
OOPS.
right.
But the
Uh-huh.
thing is that how I can relate it, I will try to relate those examples whenever we will go with the Selenium itself. So parallelly, I will try to sync it both. First, I will
Okay.
give you the example of that concept, and I will try to let you know that how it will be binded with the Selenium example.
Right. But for the testing, do we need to know all that, or that is for programmers to know?
Uh, at a one point, definitely you have to just get familiar with these terminologies as well, as because it can be the
Okay.
possibility like the person has already created a test cases and a complete framework of a
Mm-hmm.
testing for the automation, and if that is given to you, then first of all you have to understand the complete skeleton,
Right.
like how that person has called the function and how he has declared the dependencies and how he has just used the already declared method in another class, whether it
Right,
was a
right.
private,
Okay.
whether it's a static, why he has created an object of it, now from where the this interface is called. So in that case, if it's already a created thing by some other person, then it is quite required to get familiar with those terminology. And if not, then if you are starting from the scratch,
Then
then
it's
later on you
easier.
can just,
Yeah.
yeah, it will be easier. And if not, you can also use those concepts as well as to make it quite useful for the other people or
Right,
reusable
right,
thing.
right. Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Hello.
No, Prasad.
Okay. So as a theoretical part, what we have to understand is, as I mentioned, it is something which can actually help you out to uh, make sure all your methods into the annotations thing. So how it will work? So at the very first time I can able to see that is at the red test, which is actually a core path or a core method that you want to execute. Then after that did before, like the browser initiation. Then after that, after it is something for to quit the browser or to close the window of whatever you have initiated. So test methods must be annotated by @test annotation most far. That can be a multiple time in your same class file or a same test case. So if the situation requires it, that it is also possible to define a method with before class and after class. So that we already gone through, but yeah, we'll go with it quickly. Like what is the difference between before class and before, and what is the difference between after and after class. Also, as I mentioned, the before annotation is something which can actually help you out to set up your environment on which you want to do the testing. So that's why the before annotation is used to identify the method which can actually help you out to initiate your browser or to set up your test environment. Similarly, the test is actually a method that is required to execute it once your browser is initiated or once your before an annotation was called. So the annotation test identifies that my method is a test method that I want to execute. And also when it is mentioned as test, then it will be called once the before will be called. Similarly, after it is something which can actually help you out to close your browser or to kill your browser so that you can delete the temporary data, whatever your browser has captured. So after annotation, it is something which is executed once your execution will be completed of a test annotation or a test method. And this method can be used to do a tear down, as I mentioned. Like you can delete a temporary data and you can set up a default values as well as once you will clean up your environment. Then a good comparison we have defined in the last session. So if I want to discuss the same, what is the difference between before and before class? So if I will go with the before class, before class it is something which is used only once. Only once it means, let's say if you have two test annotations. So it states that you have two test annotation means you have two test methods. So if you are declaring before annotation and if you are declaring after annotation, then your browser will also initiate it twice time. Let's say right now in my skeleton I can able to see one test annotation only, means one test method only. So my browser will be initiated only one time if I'm using before and after annotations before executing this test annotation. But let's say if I'm creating one another test method or annotation, so let me try to divide that in another second method with the public void test2. So ideally, as we have two test annotation having the test1 and the test2 method, I can able to see that whenever this before and after will be initiated, it will be initiated twice time. First time it will execute before part, then after it will execute test, and then after it will execute after. For the second method, again it will try to go for the execution for before, then test for the test2 method, and then after. So let's say what I'm doing over here is I'm notifying is with the system dot out dot println and in between I'm notifying that in the double quotation as browser start. Here as it after, so most often what we are trying to do is we are trying to kill the browser, we are trying to close the browser. So I'm just notifying as browser close. For test, that is my first method, so I will notify the system.out.println in a simple skeleton as browser will execute first method. And this is the second method that we are trying to execute it, so that's why I'm notifying as browser will execute second method after or either we can say it like browser will execute second method again by executing setup. Right, setup is my method that will be again get executed, because first time, as I mentioned, it will be get executed for this one, and then again it will try to initiate this one. So what I'm doing over here is I will do a right click on it with the run as option, run as JUnit test. Let's see how it works, and it will print onto the console as a result. It is get executed because we are not doing anything with the code. We are not initiated the browser, but a simple skeleton that is appearing, that is browser was started, then first method would get executed, and then browser was closed. Then for the second method as well, browser was again started, then browser has executed a second method again by executing the setup, and then again closed. So if you have a 5 or a 6 or whatever the number of test annotation you have, according to it, it will try to call your setup and the tear down multiple times. Rather doing that, what I'm doing over here is I'm changing with this argument of before class, before to the before class, like this. And I will try to call a JUnit annotation of @before class. Similarly, I'm doing the same for @after class. And just give me a minute, I'm getting a call, okay? I'm back. I was talking about that rather putting down to the @before and @after, I'm just replacing the argument with the @before class and @after class. So by replacing it, you can able to see I have just changed the annotations with the @before to the @before class and after class. So these two imports are not used anymore. So that those are showing warning. So I will click on it. So I will notify remove unused like this, because those are not required anymore, and I will save it. And now what I will do, I will clear it on the console. Either let's try to copy these results somewhere into the notepad file so that we can compare the later on the same results. And now I will try to run it again with the run as JUnit test. Okay, setup, they are saying that method should be static in this case. See, right? That is, setup method should be static, and also the tear down method should be also static. So I'm notifying this all with the static method now. So static, and this after class will be of static. Now I will try to run it again with the run as JUnit test, and it has just get executed. You can see onto the console also with the results that if you are notifying @before class and @after class, then no matter how many methods or annotations that you are declaring with @test, it will try to call those all on a single instance. So your process will be initiated only once. So it will be like this. Clear? Till now, any doubt regarding the understanding or any problem, like how to declare the skeleton of JUnit, and how right now we have not done any complex code. It is all about totally rely on to the methods and as per the annotations. Yeah, you can just raise the question now if you have any, please.
Prasad, in this, in one test case, can we, does it have to be before test and after, or it can be multiple before test and after, or do we need separate test cases?
It will be mostly what you can do, rather creating a date before class in a same class. You can create a separate date before class and separate date after class in a one Java file, right? Rather creating a same file. Okay, and then you can extend that file. Extend means try to call that file so that in a one file, let's say you have created one Java file, let's say first. You have 2 or 3 test. Then you create another test file having lot many other test annotation. So whenever required, on every class execution, it will try to call that before class and the after class, which is already there in that separate file of Java. You can use that as well. That will be also the approach by which you can deal with it. If not, then it will be mostly in a single file. It will be a single before and after, you can see. And that test can be multiple times.
And that test, you don't have to write test 1, 2, right?
No, it will be the method. It will be the method that you have to notify with the test 1, test 2 and those. The annotation will be at the test always.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other question, team?
Prasad, this at the rate before and at the rate after is there, right? Is each time it calls one test case and it closes, and next time it calls the other at the rate test. If you're opening browser like using the at the rate before and after, will it have that cookies, right? First time we are opening the browser and we closing, and we again starting the browser. And if you are logged in or something, that cookies will be there, right?
Yes.
So what we do to clear the cookie before starting the second at the rate before?
So if you want to clear a cookie, then in that case you have to notify another class name, that is desired capabilities, right? The desired capabilities that we understand, where we are trying to make it create a profile of a Firefox to start with it, or to make it a fresh instance.
Okay. But this at the rate before class is we'll use more.
Sorry, what are you saying?
I mean, the real-time scenarios, which one is we use most? Is at the rate before class and at the rate to be after class thing?
If you have to connect to the database, so the database connection, it is something which can be done only once. So it will be good if you will go with the at before class and at after class in that case. And if not, then you can just stick to the at before and the at after.
Okay.
So that was the case, like at the before class, it is something that method is only executed once before starting all the tests. And basically this is used to to perform the intensive activities, like if you want to connect to the database or something. Similarly, that after class, it is something which is used only once you are finishing the executing of all the tests, and that is like a cleanup of all the activities that you initiated, like disconnecting from the database and all those. So there are lot many annotations are there supported into the JUnit, but apart from those, this is kind of a most common one, I can say, or a popular one that is required to get familiar with it. Along with that, ideally, as I mentioned recently, there are lot many other alternatives as well available in a TestNG like as a TestNG framework. So that is TestNG is one of the more popular testing framework that is used instead of using the JUnit or as an alternative of JUnit. So in a company, lot many people are either demanding for the JUnit or either they will demand for the TestNG. So in this training we will try to cover both, but right now we are only going with the JUnit. In upcoming sessions you will also able to see the TestNG as well. But yeah, it is just a overview that TestNG stands for Test Next Generation, which has some lot more advantages in comparison of the JUnit. It has some powerful unique features for reporting mechanism, and also as JUnit comes inbuilt, as I mentioned, we do not have to install it separately, so that's why people are preferring that one. But if you are trying to go with the TestNG, then we have to explicitly install it. I will show that to you how it will be get installed. And yeah, we can also define the TestNG annotations as well, as if you want to create such kind of test cases as well. So ideally, how to install TestNG? I'm just showing you the installation. In the separate session, we will go with the TestNG examples as well as. So it can be the possible, let's say if you are just having the TestNG installation, then how to do the installation in your system or in your Eclipse. So first of all, you have to go into the help section. After going with the help section, you have to find out the install new software option. Once you will find out the install new software option, I will select this. After notifying this, I can able to see this work with option where you want to notify http:// and then try to notify this terminology, that is beust.com/eclipse, and then press enter. I am already pinging that URL by which you can also do the same at your end in your Eclipse. Under the help, install new software, under this work with option, you have to apply this URL and then press enter. Once you will press enter, it will show you the option named TestNG. You have to select that option and then you have to do the next. In my case, I have already installed, so that is why the next button is not enabled. But once you will explore it, or if it's the very first time you are installing in your Eclipse, that will show you the next button available. Yeah, so one of the candidate can do the same, so that parallelly the installation will be going on, and if any doubt will be there, or if installation was not working correctly, then we can also go it again if any problem will be there. So yeah, any person has the Eclipse itself or having
Yeah.
this TestNG already installed?
No, I'm doing it side by Prasad. I'm there in available software box, but it giving me when I give HTTP, it giving me that red color arrow. I mean red color cross mark error.
Okay,
Do
I'm
I
making you the
locate?
presenter. Yeah, I'm making you the presenter. Just share your screen so that I can see the problem what actually you are doing wrong.
Okay, yeah. You can see.
Yes, I can able to see.
One
You have not
second.
entered the URL completely yet. That's why it is showing you the
Yeah.
red mark.
Okay. Let me. Okay. You having control or I am having control? I don't know.
Yeah, you can just copy the URL from the chat section that I have pinged to you in a GoToMeeting section.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Press enter. Yeah, it's installing, right? Yeah, just go with the OK. Hello. Yeah, hello. Yeah, hello. Espriya. Hello.
Yeah, it's installed and it's asked me to restart the Eclipse and it's
So it works, right? That's how we can go it, right? Hello.
yeah, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, it's opening.
Yes, you, but looks like the screen is stuck on my side. It's just showing the security warning. Which the Priya screen, which is showing security warning. That's the one I can see. I don't know. It's case with others also.
Yeah, now can you able to see my screen? Guys, just let me know once it's reflected then.
Yeah, sure. Still seeing Priya screen.
Yeah. Yeah, so team, can you able to see my screen?
Not yet.
No, Prasad, it's saying waiting to.
Yeah, waiting to view your screen. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah, can anyone make me presenter? Can anyone able to make me that?
Those you are the presenter. No, okay. Miss Priya is the presenter.
Just let me know now. I have just tried to change it and just let me know if it's reflected or
Yeah,
not.
we can.
Yes, now
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay. Yeah, so whatever the example that we have gone through for the JUnit, the continuing with the another few example for the JUnit, what is the example we can see? You can able to see that is one another simple test case I have created where I have not even defined any @ before and @ after, but instead I have notified a WebDriver equal to Firefox driver, that is to initiate my Firefox browser. And then after in the @ test annotation itself, we are putting down all the things, that is driver.manage window.maximize to maximize my window. Same like the previous example. As we know that if you want to open up the URL, that will be the command like driver.get. So the driver is my object. You can able to see if I'm notifying WD over here, then you have to notify WD over here. But in my case, the object name is driver. So that will be driver.get and whatever the URL that I want to open up, and then after I'm notifying the simple message that is site is opened up. And then after to quit the browser, we are notifying wd.quit. If the object name is driver, then we can notify driver.quit. And then we are putting down that end of test. So whenever I will run this simple test case, let's see how it works. So ideally it will be run as JUnit test. So let's see how it works. So over here it will show you the execution is completed or what, because we have not done anything much. We have initiated the Firefox browser. Then we are maximizing it and we are opening up the URL and then we are closing it. So within a 28 second, it has just executed my test case. Clear? And out in this example,
Yeah.
Sorry, it might be a stupid question to ask, but why do we have to keep the windows maximized all the time?
like it is not necessary, it is just for the understanding. If by default, let's say I will comment this code, and if I will run this code at the very first time, your window will be quite smaller whenever the execution will be initiated. So to see it better in a like in a good way, that's why we are maximizing it. It is not necessary to do so. I have commented it.
But in case if the browser opens in a full window, and then what will happen to that the line and then that line of code?
Yeah, if I will comment that part, it will not maximize the window and it will look something like this, right? Like you can able to see right now, I have just running it and it will be only with this size. My window will be of this size and it will close it. So rather doing that, first of all, I'm maximizing my window so that you can able to see my window is completely maximized, and then after whatever the operation I'm doing it. So I've just commented that line, and now if I will run it, rather showing it in a half of the window, it will just maximize first, and then after it will do the operations.
Okay. No, my question was, it says that when you open a new window, it opened a full screen.
Yes.
Minimize view. So but your code already has maximizing a window, but the browser opened a full window itself. So do we need to have that code all the time, or it's just for?
Whenever you will open up the window, right? If it's already maximized, right? Then in that case it will be not required, but by default whenever you will not notify these two lines, then it will be open up in a partial case. It will be open up in a half of the window. It will not be the case whenever it will be automatically maximized thing.
Okay. Okay.
Right? It has just taken a longer time and I just yes, I just in between I just closed it, so that's why it was just showing the error. See, I just killed it, right? In between, whenever the execution was going on, I just killed it. That's why it was just closing it. Now I'm just putting down it again. I'll try to run it with the run as JUnit test. Let's see how it works now. Yeah, you can just raise the question now, if any, please. Yeah, Priya, do you have any doubt? You are just saying something to me.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if suppose the browser is already maximized, then it's still okay, right? It's not going to throw an error, right?
Yeah, but whenever you will initiate your browser, right, at the very first time with this driver equal to new Firefox driver, then
Right.
actually it is initiating a separate browser. It will be a never case that by default your browser will be maximized somewhere.
Okay, okay.
You're getting my point. Like at the very first time,
Uh-huh.
by that driver equal to new Firefox driver, first of all it will initiate your browser first, and
Right.
that browser will be by default not in a full maximized window.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, that was my question. I got it. Thanks,
Okay,
Sasha.
I get
Thanks,
it.
Priya.
Thanks.
Yeah, Priya, do you have any doubt?
No, sir. Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So that was the case, like how we can deal with a simple flow, like to deal with address test. What if I want to deal with the address before, address after, and address test? So that is also another example that we can see, but you can able to see like in the address test, we are maximizing the window, we are opening up the URL, and then after I'm notifying something that is with the driver dot find element by XPath and all those. So what is these things? Actually recognized as in a script. So that will be driver.find element by XPath with whatever the XPath that we have. So that is something by which you can find out the address of the element that is available on a page. So let's see. Now we are trying to go with few examples like how we can
Hey,
find the
sorry, I have one question in this. In this one, you haven't used @ before and after, so it's not like it's not required every time, right? I mean, you shouldn't always have before test and after. You can have @ tests, right?
Yeah, you can only use @test, that is okay, but yeah, in that case you have to initiate both the start point and the end point in the same
Point
@test. But
in
the
the
thing is
@
that
test.
yeah, but the thing is
Okay.
that it will be a better practice because whenever we are trying to use it in a real-time application, it will be not only a @test or a single method that we want to execute. It will be a collection of lot many test methods.
Right,
So
right.
in every case, we are trying to either initiate the browser, and if not, it will be like we have to bifurcate like which specific method is get like throwing the error.
Right.
That's why I'm bifurcating that even the environment is not set up correctly, then it will throw the error right away.
Right. So in this, I could have used @ before and opened the browser and maximized it, right? And then in the @ test, I could have done that blocks driver.get and all that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So the thing is that what if you want to find out the element address? So ideally, let's say if I'm going with this URL that is given to me, that is new test, I'm opening up into the Firefox browser. And I'm putting down that URL into the Firefox browser. And I can able to see that this is the first time that is the text box that I want to reach on to it with the help of WebDriver. So ideally I have to do the insert time with the Firebug, same like Selenium ID. We have the target thing where we are putting down to the locators, but in my case I can able to see the type or a class or even I can use XPath as well as, right? I have already added the FirePath add-on, which can gives you absolute as well as relative XPath. So I will try to click onto the FirePath add-on. If I want to find out XPath of a relative one, I will select this arrow icon and I will try to go on to this first name text box. And now I can able to see that this is the XPath that we can use. If not, what is the simplest way by which also we can declare the XPath by my own? So ideally I can able to see that this element has the name. So what can be the relative XPath we can declare? So it will be / tag into the square brackets. It will be @ means we are addressing the specific attribute, and in the equal to after we are notifying a value of that specific element. Tag means HTML tag, whatever the HTML tag we have. So lot many possibilities we can have as an attribute. You can use ID, class, name, so it will be at that ID equal to something, at that name equal to something, at that class equal to something, or whatever you want to. So in my case, I will try to define the same first name text box located as a relative one. So I have the name already, right? So what I will do, I will give it as double slashes with input, that is my HTML tag, into the square bracket. I have to notify with the @ what is the attribute is. So the attribute I can able to see that you can use, that is name, equal to, in the double quotation, the value of that name is fname. So this is the relative path that we can use for this name field to reach on into it for the XPath. Rather, going for this relative path, if you will try to do a right click on it with the copy XPath, and if you will try to put down over here, that will be the absolute path with 2 slashes. It will be the absolute path, which is quite longer. So rather using this in my script, I can able to see that I've used / input at the name equal to fname. And to declare the locator in WebDriver, we are using this thing, that is driver dot find element. This is the syntax actually, that is driver dot find element, and then we have to use by. So it will be look something like this. Whatever the object name that you have, so in my case that is driver dot, you can able to see itself the by element like this. They are suggesting that you have to put down by argument. So I will notify by dot. When I will press dot, automatically it will suggest predefined set of arguments by which I can locate my element. I want to locate it by XPath, or if it's a name, then you can also use name. What is the name of it in my case? So the name of the element is fname. And then if you want to type something in this, we have the type command into the Selenium ID whenever you want to type something in the text box. But in the WebDriver, the same command is known as send keys. And in the double quotation, we are typing something like test JUnit test 1 executed. So I'm trying to commenting this line which is already there, and I will try to go with this line that I have recently written down over there. After that, I'm putting down some delay if you want to give the delay in between whenever it is trying to move from one specific process to the other process, we can say. And then we are putting out on the console that is JUnit test1 class is executed. So what I will do, I will try to do a run, right click on it with the run as. Before that, let's try to create a console results, and let's see now the results with the run as JUnit test. But before that, I'm just commenting this quit line so that my browser will not be closed quickly, okay, or quit quickly, so that you can able to see this send keys thing, which is actually typing into the text box. So run as JUnit test. Let's see how it works. Clear anytime? Any doubt?
So in the code, you're waiting after this first name entered, you're waiting for some time period, right? And you didn't close the browser, so it is waiting there.
No. I have just commented this driver.quit. That's why. That's why the browser is not closed. It is not about the wait time that I have given. Right? It is only the delay to complete the process. Let's say if I am commenting this line, it is the delay to print this statement onto the console. So that is not actually the delay. Cause of that, the browser is still there. Actually, I have commented the driver.quit. That's why it was not showing, or it was just stopped over there. So if I run this code again, let's see how it works. You can see here also the result is there, right?
Okay.
Got my point?
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah,
only for the few of 2 seconds we are giving as a delay, so that it will try to get enough time to stable the browser, and then after quickly it will print the message onto the console. So any doubt into the locator thing? Or in this code, just let me know if you have any doubt, so that we can go it again if any.
Yeah, Prasad, can you show the text path thing the different way? Now it is HTML, right? You said there is various.
Yeah, I have just changed it with the name here. Previously it was with the XPath, but whenever I have just typed, it was in a name. See, so I located it
In
with the name.
XPath itself, you can do different thing. I mean, the XPath itself, can we do the different way?
Yeah, but the element is only having the name. That's why I have to use name. You got my point? The syntax is tag, then attribute equal to value. And whenever I am locating this text box, I can have only unique argument, that is name of the element. Can you able to see onto the console?
Okay. Yeah. I got it.
So it's same like Selenium ID, where we are notifying the name equal to name of the element. So I'm just copying out that name equal to name of the element over here directly as app name, because I'm locating my element by name. Clear and out? Similarly, the another example that we have, that is the JUnit test2, where we have now two separate methods, that is test1 and test2. So moving ahead, now we are trying to use @before and @after as well. So it will be @before, and with the @before we are notifying driver.manage.window.maximize to maximize the window, and whatever the URL that you want to open up with the driver.get. And then after we are notifying @after with the driver.quit. Then in the @test, the very first method that we have, the test1, we are locating my first name text box with the XPath mechanism, and then we are typing something over there. Similarly, after that method is completed, the execution, I'm giving some delay. Then after, for the @test annotation, another test2 I can able to see. And then also we are doing the same for the same text box, but the only difference is, as it's the @before and @after, it will be not overwritten on the same text box. So I will run this code with the right click on it with the run as. JUnit test, and let's see, it will initiate your browser twice time because we have two @test, that's why. And you can able to see onto the console, it has just executed both the methods. Clear in this example or any doubt?
Hey Prasad, I thought when we had two @test, would it open two tabs or no? I mean, it opened in the same tab, right? We initiated it twice.
The browser will be initiated twice time. The browser will be initiated twice time. It will be not a kind of a tab thing.
Initiated twice then. Okay, okay.
Yes. So let's say I'm closing all the browser, let's say,
okay.
so that you can don't get confused, and I will running it again.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes, yes. Thanks.
Similarly, the another example that we have to go to, that is JUnit annotations, having that annotation difference of before class and after class. So the same example, having two @test, but now we are trying to changing only with the @ before class and @ after class. The rest things are quite the same. You can able to see here. So let's say if I will run this code, let's see how it works. But before that, I have to clear it, because if I have to notify, or if my browser will be initiated only one time, it will just overwrite the same text again and again on a one text box. So rather doing that, we are trying to give it out as clear command, because if it's @ before class and @ after class, that's why. So I will do a right click on it with the run as JUnit test, and let's see how it works now. Clear, any doubt? Now what if you want to create a test chute, like lot many test cases, you want to run it as a single test chute. So ideally you have to go into the package, do right click on it, new, other, same like whatever the test case that you have created, you have to go for the test chute now, and then press next, where you can able to see the list of cases that you already created. And if already one test shoot will be there created, then they will show you the warning. Let's say in my case, whatever the number of test cases I have, one of the test shoot is there, or I guess two test shoots are there. The one is all test, that is also a test shoot of a JUnit, and this demo shoot also, it's a test shoot of a JUnit. So they are showing this warning, that is adding a test shoot as a test case itself will go into the infinite, means recursion. Or a Stack Overflow error. Clear? Any doubt?
So can you repeat this one? This is test suite, new JUnit test suite. Why are you opening a JUnit test suite? Can you repeat this again?
Whenever you want to create a number of test cases put together as a test shoot, in that case, you have to click onto this package, do a right click on it, go with new, other, and you can able to see a test shoot. So ideally, what is test shoot? As a manual testing terminology, the test shoot is actually a collection of lot many test cases. So till now, whatever the number of test cases that we have created separately, I want to club it put together, and I want to run it as a test shoot. So whenever I will go with the test shoot itself, they are showing me the warning if already one person has created a test shoot over there. So this all test and the demo shoot are the JUnit test shoots. So if already one test shoot is created, then don't try to add it as a test shoot, else it will go into the recursion or it will be in an infinite loop. So I am just removing this all test. Still they are showing that another test shoot is still there. Then it will be overwritten. So I will remove this demo shoot as well, and I have to change this shoot name as well. So I am notifying the test shoot as shoot now. And whatever the test cases that I have created today, I will try to run it as a bunch. As a single test shoot, so I will just try to select this annotation to first JUnit demo, JUnit test 1, JUnit test 2, and my test as a test shoot. And I will do a finish. So once we will do a finish, it will show you this thing. I'm removing the unused imports. If you want to, okay, something went wrong because maybe the shoot maybe already exists or something. So I'm deleting it and again I'm creating it. Let's go into the package, do a right click on it, new, other, JUnit test shoot. Just remove the demo shoot, all test, and whatever the test cases that you want to run it as a bunch. And then after, give a good name. And then I will do a finish. So once I will do a finish, automatically it will show you a complete test shoot that we can execute. Till now, any doubt? So whatever the classes that is required to run it as a test case, those are appearing over here. That is annotation 2, first JUnit demo, JUnit test 1, JUnit test 2, and my test. Now I will try to close this all, and I will do a right click on it with the run as JUnit test. It will get run as a test shoot. One by one, all the methods will get executed. Let's see the results now. And you can able to see now as a bunch it has just executed all the methods like this. Just let me know if you have doubt any now. Yeah, hello. So you can go ahead, right? Yeah, Danya, are you there? Can you able to hear me? Okay. So what we are trying to do is continuing with it. That was the case about how to deal with the JUnit. Now what we need to understand is how to deal with the actual locator thing in a WebDriver. So we have already gone through the basic idea regarding Selenium locators or thing in a Selenium ID. But continuing with, we will try to explore some more examples of Selenium WebDriver locators. So let's see how it will work and how we can define the locators into the Selenium WebDriver. Starting with the first one, as we know that until unless you will not able to locate your element or you are not able to finding out the address of the element, it will not help you out to do the scripting easily. So I am notifying that how to locate the Selenium web, like how to locate the element that is available on the web page. So the purpose and the motivation is all about to do the or to share the knowledge. Along with that, we will try to expose the new options and the alternatives by which I can locate my elements. and we will try to create a robust framework, or we will try to create a good scripting by locating the element one by one. The most common the purpose is all about to identify the elements by which we can simulate the operations on those by binding it with the commands, and then after we can also do a verification on those elements that we are trying to finding out. So starting with the first one, what understanding required to deal with the locator thing. So that is again same like the Selenium ID. It will be a basic HTML terminology about tag and attributes like name, ID, class, CSS selector, then DOM and all those. And as a WebDriver basic usage, what we required is how to initiate the browser, and that we already understand, that is WebDriver driver equal to new Firefox driver. So think of WebDriver as a browser instance, as I mentioned, and as in data type, same like in the Java, the data type was integer, string, boolean. Those were the data type into the Java. So if it's a data type into the WebDriver, to store my locator or to store my address of the element, it will be web element as a data type, we will see. So yeah, I will see the data type as web element and as any scene object on the page. So whatever the element that we are trying to traverse on a web page, that will be stored in the data type as web element. So starting with the first one, what are the things that we need to also get familiar? That whenever we are locating our element, then we are trying to use the by class to support the variety of locator strategies. So how to find a method, or what are the methods by which I can locate my element on my web page? So as you know that again the purpose of this section is to go with the locator mechanism by which you can locate the element no matter by which mechanism we are locating it. But the idea is all about to find the element address. So let's see. Starting with the first one, locating elements using, we can locate it by ID, by links, by tag names, CSS selector, same like IDE, XPath, jQuery element if we have any, and tags. So we'll see each and every one now in detail with examples. The very first is what we require as a prerequisite to inspect our element. So we need a Firebug or a Firepath to directly find the CSS and the XPath. In the Chrome also we are using the F12 key, which is actually a similar kind of Firebug, and also for the IE as well, it will be the F12 console by which you can locate your element. Moving ahead, the very first understanding that we need to define is what are the possibilities under which I can notify the locator thing. So if we are dealing with the Java language, then ideally it will be driver dot, means object name dot. If it's a WD, then we have to notify WD dot. But in my case, that will be driver dot find element by dot ID, that is the ID of the element, and that is passed over there as an argument. Similarly, for the link tags, you can notify dot link tags. If you are doing the scripting into C# language, the declaration is quite different, but here it is only for the understanding purpose, that how it will look like in the C#. Similarly for the Python and the Ruby as well. Till now, any doubt? Yes, Priya, do you have any doubt? So starting with the first one, the very first example that we need to understand, that is what is the difference between find element versus find elements. So recently we have gone through the find element thing, where if it's a find element, then it will only find a single element. So if 0 matches will be there on your element, then it will throw the exception. If it's a one single element is matching, that will only return that specific element. And if there are more than one element is matching, then it will try to give you only one single element which is appearing very first in a DOM, means document object model structure. Rather, if you are using driver.findElements, then if 0 matches will be there, then it will return an empty set, means a empty array. If it's a one match will be there, then it will return a list of elements. From that only one element will be there. And if there are 2+ matches will be there, then ideally it will try to grab a complete list of all elements, we can say. Not only the one instance, but it will grab all the matching instances, I can say. So starting with the first one, what is the first mechanism we have by which I can locate my element? That is by ID. So that will be driver.findElement by.id, and into the double quotation whatever the ID of the element that we have. So ideally it seems like the ideal solution, right? Because the IDs are most often unique. But what if IDs are not existing, then what to use? Similarly, their uniqueness is not also enforced, means it can be the possible that those are generated dynamically. Dynamically it is something like, let me give you a good example. What about it died like dynamic? So I'm going into one of the page. Once this page will be opened up, I will try to do the inspect element with the Firebug for this text box, and I can able to see for this text box it is having the ID as this one, and for the button also, for the submit button, the ID is this is. Now whenever I'm initiating my browser, it will get refreshed every time. So let's say assume that my page is get refreshed, and now again I'm trying to locate my text box over there, and I can able to see that ID is now get changed. Whatever the ID that we have, that is now changed with this argument, and also for the submit button, that is also get changed. So how to deal with such kind of element where the IDs are frequently changing on a dynamically? So in that case also ID mechanism will not work. Till now any doubt? So what is the plan is, we can also go with another mechanism, that is if I have any link, then how to locate those links. So that will be driver.findElement and then by.link text, we are notifying whatever the link that we want to find out. Similarly, if you want to partially find out a specific link, then it will be by.partial link text, and then rather giving a complete text, I can also give the piece of link as well, by which I can reach out to the specific element. So whatever I'm highlighting with the purple line, those are actually the mechanism of the locators. Similarly, what if you want to find out with the tag name? So ideally, if whatever the skeleton that you have as an HTML language with the lot many tags, if you want to find out a specific element, you have to make sure that that tag name should be unique among those. And I can able to see that the button, it is something which is not unique over here, but I have only one input tag in the complete hierarchy, which is quite appearing as a unique HTML tag. So if I will use dot tag name with the input, that will try to locate that specific element with the input tag. Just stop me at any point, right? If you are not getting any mechanism, please. As Priya, do you have any doubt?
Prasad, can you show me the link, the before one? How are you finding this link text?
Same like in the Selenium ID, you have to find out a link equal to whatever the link text that you have, like the visible text. For the register link we have done.
It will show in the XPath, so like link.
Not the XPath I'm talking about, it is just directly a text that is appearing onto the link. Let me open up a Selenium ID itself so that you can recall it. Yeah, so I'm opening up the locators of the Selenium ID as well. And now if you can able to see, in that also we have already gone through this mechanism, that was if you want to reach out to the specific link, then it will be this one, the link equal to link tags, where if it's anchor tag, then ideally whatever the tags that is visible over here, let's say registration, then you are putting down as a locator with link equal to register. The same thing that we are doing over here into the WebDriver as link tags, that is the type by which I am locating my element, and in the double quotation I have to put down that register. So it will try to locate that thing. Now you can able to compare, as Priya?
Yes. Yeah. I got it now. Yeah. So registered link, the link in the browser. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
If we want to find a link in the browser, then we can put the link text and the name of that link. Okay.
Then after, what if you want to deal with the CSS selector example? So CSS selector, it is something where we are trying to deal with the cascading style sheet, and it is again a same mechanism like whatever we are going through in the Selenium ID, but the only difference is it's all about a declaration. So the CSS also has a two type of path we can have. That is, one is absolute path and the other one is relative path, same like XPath. But if it's a CSS case, then the absolute path will look with starting with the HTML tag, then arrow, then whatever the element hierarchy that we have. You can also find out this CSS absolute path and the relative path from the Firepath thing. So let's say I'm going back to the Firefox. And I'm opening up the Facebook application. I'll try to do a right click onto the email field with the inspect with the Firebug. and I'm going to the fire path. Under the fire path, I will select the CSS option, and then I will do the inspect with the Firebug for this email field, and I can able to see a relative path of this email field. But let's say if you want to generate the absolute path, you can also select that absolute path as well. Right, so this is actually a relative path for CSS selector, but if the same thing it will be recognized as absolute path, then will be start with like this, that is HTML body div p and input, that is my tag, and if it's ID then with the hash sign it will be email. So what are the most often common attributes we have? That is tag with attribute value. Recently we have gone through that example, but that was for the XPath. That is tag name into the square bracket, attribute equal to value, but if it's XPath case, then we have to notify ampersand sign or address sign with the address trace, right? You can see here, if it's XPath, then we are notifying tag, then in the bracket we are notifying @ and then after whatever the attribute that we have equal to its value. But as we are dealing with the CSS example, it will be tag name, that is button, attribute is name equal to whatever the value that we have, that is cancel. Clear? Can you able to relate it? So to make it easier, you can also recall the example of Selenium ID, where also we are dealing with the same CSS selector example, that was attribute equal to value thing, that is this one. CSS equal to tag, attribute equal to value. Yeah, till now any doubt? Hello. Yes, Priya, do you have any doubt? Hello. So continuing with it, the other attributes are like ID, tag and ID. So if it's a CSS selector, then you can directly give the ID with the hash sign. Recently for the email as well, it was hash email. Similarly for the tag and ID, it is a tag name, that is button, hash ID of the element, that is save. If it's a class attribute, then ideally it will be by.css selector. If it's a class, so it will be dot class name. And similarly, if you want to club it with the tag and class, that will be tag name, that is input, dot class name, that is username. Moving ahead, what if you want to find out a specific element having a unique attribute value pair? So it will be tag name, that is image, attribute is alter tag, equal to cuckoo, it's its value. You can use any unique one. Tag which has attribute means ideally it will be, I do not know the value of it, so I can only notify tag name with only attribute. Similarly, tag which does not have any attribute, then in that case I can give it as image, that is my tag name, colon not, means I am trying to finding out the attribute which does not have attribute like argument as alter tag, so not alter. Moving ahead, if I will try to deal with some advanced tricks of CSS selector, then what are the advanced tricks? So let's say if you want to find out a first child, whatever the first child I have in a skeleton of a CSS, if I want to find out a first child, then how to deal with it? So it will be div.
Hey, Prasad, do you have examples of these?
Yeah, these are the examples actually. We do not have to mug up these all syntaxes. We have the
No,
easiest way
not
to.
about mucking up. I mean, I just wanted to see if
Yeah.
if we can see the example, like where it has value, where it has not
Yeah.
on the browser.
Yeah, but the thing is that let's say if I am trying to locate this specific element, we can say let's say I am trying to going with this email field. Okay, and I can able to see the class name is there, then I can use input tags, right? So I can only return the syntax, but it is not that like same like into the ID we have find it out with the find button. So let's say if you want to locate this email field with the CSS example, you have to copy the class name and the syntax will be become as driver dot find element and then after you have to notify by dot CSS selector into the double quotation, it will be class name is there, so you can give it as only dot what are the class name that we have, like this, right?
Okay.
So this is how you can relate the example. Yeah, definitely, but you can see here the recent example was like this, CSS selector, this one, driver.find element by dot CSS selector dot yo-yo. So that is class name over here in my case in the PPT.
Okay.
You have to just change it with the argument that you have on a page or whatever you have located as an element. Let's say it will be a combination of tag and class. So I can able to see that the tag is input. So it will be, I have to just replace with this input thing, like input dot input text, like this, right? Now can able to relate it.
To some extent.
You have to just compare it with the recent section that is there already in a PPT. You can see here that is driver.find element by.css selector. They are saying that that is tag name dot whatever the class name that you have. And in my case, for the email field, my tag name is input as an HTML tag, and the class name is input text. You can able to see over here. So that I have just replaced it from the Firebug.
Okay, I get it.
Similarly, let's say if you want to deal with the ID, right? What will be the case? You have to just notify as, I will copy it. I am pasting out over here. If it's a ID, give hash sign. What is the ID in my case? That is email. So I will copy this email and paste it out over here like this. And if you want to change the same by tag and ID combination, so it will be with like tag is input, so it will be input hash email like this, and that you can compare the same over here, that is button hash save. So button is my HTML tag, hash is my sign that we are notifying somewhat that we are using the ID, and that save is my ID of the element. Clear?
Why didn't you put a dot over there, input dot hash email? I mean, if I don't, will it give me the syntax? Like, you don't need a dot or something? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you have not guys has done enough exercise for the ID thing, guys. See, the ID PPT that I have signed, right? If you can able to see, I have clearly mentioned that whenever you are using the CSS selector mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a tagging class, then you have to put down CSS equal to tag dot class, where dot is representing that in the CSS selector that you are using class. If it's a ID, then you have to put down the hash sign. That is, the hash is something which can actually use whenever you are using the CSS selector with the ID thing. And the same thing we are trying to representing with the WebDraw locator, but it's all about the example or the argument that we are replacing.
Okay. Okay.
Clear? Any doubt?
No, but that's the thing. Since we don't work on this in every day, this thing, and if we have to work, then I mean, I cannot go back and forth in the exercise, or I may not remember. So will the environment or the like the Eclipse, will it throw some error saying, hey, this is not how the syntax is, like it does in JavaScript, like, you know, unknown operator or something like that?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to browse through the notes and you know, go through as long as I know, okay, I have to pull in the email over here.
Yeah.
Will it tell
Yeah.
me is there any help available, like in not the technical help, but will it say anywhere like, okay, this is not how the expected format was or something like that?
Yeah, if you are giving the locator wrong, then definitely it will throw the error. Let's say recently in the JUnit example, we have used one of the text box name fname, right? Where we have typed something. So let's say in the case of that, if my locator will be wrong in a declaration itself, let's say for taking the example of JUnit test 1, I can able to see that we have used this example recently by locating the first name. Somewhat I have just placed it wrong, or the syntax is wrong, let's say.
Okay.
And I have just made it wrong to understand, like rather than fname, you put it down name or something, wrong syntax, let's say totally. So whenever you will just run this code, what actually happens is it will throw the error onto the console, that locator not found error.
Okay.
Let's see how it works. It will just definitely execute your browser instance, but whenever the element will not able to find out within a specific time period, it will try to wait along, and then it will throw the error onto the console that the locator not found, no such element is there on your web page. No such exception will be thrown by system. It is waiting a longer, and you can see already here that as it has just thrown the error with the 33 milliseconds, that unable to locate element method xpath selector input name fname. I'm copying it, copy trace, and I'm putting it down into the notepad file, And yeah, let me try to remove unnecessary thing from this complete error log, and you can able to see this is the error that it will throw.
Right, right.
But still you can't able to judge it by this error. That at least you will judge it that yes, the locator is wrong. But to find the locator again, you have to go back into the inspect element by a Firebug, and then you have to put it down the exact actual argument that is required over here. Till then it will not throw this error continuously.
It doesn't even state you the line number or something like.
Yeah, itself they are notifying a complete locator which is actually not available on a page.
Okay, okay.
Over here you can see here that whatever the locator that is applied wrong, they are showing that like this element was not actually able found. No such element is there on your page.
Okay, okay, okay. That's good enough. Okay.
So yeah, that is also the case that what if rather making or to memorize all the syntaxes, what if I want to make it quite easier to locate my all elements? So as a mentor, we are following this approach to go with each and every mechanism that is required to locate your element, because at one point there are lot many add-ons available in the market by which you can locate your element directly. Let's say Firepath. Firepath is one of the example we can say, right, where by which we are locating the element directly to find out the XPath. Similarly, Firebug is somewhat giving you lot many arguments. So the another add-on that we have, that is Wave Element Locator named add-on of a Firefox only. If that is installed in your system, then you can locate all the elements directly. Let's see how.
Okay, okay. Thanks.
So
Yeah,
you
it
do
makes
not have
sense.
to but actually it is a call of as a mentor, because a lot many times if the add-on will not work, right, then in that case you have to start creating the syntaxes by your own. In that case you can't assume that what can be the way now, what can be the way out now. So you have to just put down those syntaxes by manually, like writing down like driver.find element and then do an inspect element. Then you will try to find out a unique argument from that specific element, and then after you are putting down over there in your application to locate your element. But yeah, this add-on will be installed. Then what do you have to do? Just do a right click on it. You can able to see this all option, that is C#, Java, support Python and Ruby and XPath. So let's say we are only interested to deal with the Java locator and XPath. So I will do the inspect element with the Firebug, or because let's say this is the element that I want to locate or a password that I want to locate. Do a right click on it. You can able to see the Java locator thing. Whatever the true one are there, those are the used so far as a locator thing.
Okay.
The rest are not actually compatible or available with this.
Right.
So let's say I will go with a lot many possibility, that is ID, by name, by tab index, and this. So let's say I will select that, and then once you will select it, you can just directly paste it out over here into the Eclipse like this. I just pasted it in outside the block, that's why it is showing you the error, but it is for a demo purpose.
Right.
But you can see here I just copy pasted directly. And then after, by giving dot command, you can just club it with a lot many other possibilities or a command that is supported over here.
Okay, okay, okay.
The another possibility that we use, like what if that specific ID of the element, or let's say in my case I have used name, I want to replace it with another argument because the name is quite common, let's say. So I will do a right click on it. I will go with the other possibilities, or if not, you can go with the XPath option, which is also showing you a lot many other possibilities or actual XPath of that specific element. Most often it will be a relative XPath.
Right, right. Okay.
You would have told this before, Prasad.
Sorry? What is?
No, I'm saying this is easy. You would have showed this before.
Yeah, this is easy, but yeah, sometimes what actually happens that dear, like if you will go on to the one of the web page and it is showing all the red marks. It is showing you all the red marks, and they are saying that try to locate this element. Then definitely it will be the actual challenge to locate your element. Right now it is feeling quite easy, but the thing is that it will be a situation where all is showing with the red mark that no such locator is there which you can use in your script. Then how to do it? So it is not that, like, it is a limitation of the add-on actually, but we have to start defining the custom script, or I would say a custom address of that specific element by which I can reach out anywhere. So yeah, you can just change it with the other argument, that is tab index. I will copy it, and over here I will try to change it with this, like this. That is also another possibility, like you can use a variety of XPaths now. So yeah, in the initial stage, it will definitely work a lot. It will be quite easy, but yeah, at one point, if it not work correctly with all possible ways, then you have to go with again with the syntaxes that I have already notified over here in the PPT itself. So these are the ways by which you can start notifying the things. Till now, any doubt? Yeah, you can raise the question now if you have any, please. Hello. Okay, so continuing with the example, like what if you want to find out a specific element, I can say that is a first child. So it will be CSS selector with the div, that is the HTML tag hash, that is the ID of the element, and with the column first child, if I will notify, then it will give me the very first child that is available in a structure. Similarly, if you want to find out the end child or whatever the number of elements we have from those all, if I want to find out a specific one, then I also have to give it that index, that is and then into the bracket third, because the index will start with the 0. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. You can find out the element. Along with that, if you want to find out a second descendant, means the second last element, then again it will be a div, that is the HTML tag hash, then ID, that is the ID of the element, and as it's a CSS selector, so that's why I'm notifying with the arrow sign, and whatever the tag that I have in between. If you want to find out a specific element that is enabled or what, I have to notify that tag name, that is button, colon enabled or disabled. So whether it is enabled or disabled, I can also notify that as well. So that was the case about CSS. Similarly, we can deal with the XPath as well. So now, same like the XPath, like we have understanding to the ID. This is another example that we can use as an XPath, where we have two types of XPath as I have discussed previously as well, that is absolute path and the relative path. So ideally it will be HTML/body/div, that will be a complete XPath, so that's why it is known as the absolute path. And the another XPath that we have, that is relative one, alright, that we can also use then after, which actually lead you out to really reach on to the specific element. Then if you want to find out a specific attribute value pair, then also you can use by.xpath. And recently, whatever the example that we have gone through, it is the same example, that is just give the address sign, that is @ ID, class, name, anything you can use as a unique attribute equal to whatever the argument that we have. If it's a tag and ID and you do not know what is the actual tag, then you can give the star, means any tag can be valid, but the ID should be whatever the ID is mentioned over there in ID argument. It can be the operators can also work, that is with the and sign, means the type should be submit and also the value should be login. If both the criteria will be fulfilled, then it will try to locate your element. Similarly, we can also use the OR operator as well, as like from both one. If anyone will work, then we can directly go with that. Moving ahead, that dynamic element thing, where most often the numbers were changing, the count and all those were the same. So I can use starts with keyword, by which we can try to deal with the dynamic elements which are most often changing the ID dynamically or the count number most often. So if you are dealing with the ID, then you have to notify the @ ID, and then after just give it in a single quotation, whatever the ID or you want to locate. Similarly, you can also use and with as well, ends with, right? We have two things, submit and the another one was count. So in those both cases, we can use starts with and ends with. If you want to match with a specific value, then you can use like contains, same like that CSS, it will be contains, and then after you have to notify @ ID and whatever the ID of the element that we have. If it's a specific matching value with any attribute, then you can use @ because we do not know whether it's an ID, whether it's a name or a class. And then after in the double quotation, whatever the attribute value we have, we are notifying that one. Till now, any doubt? Yeah, you can just raise the question now if you have any. Hello. Yes, tell me. Yeah, Priya, do you have any doubt?
No, sir. This one is a new slides, right? This expert examples under new things. It's not there the previous locator side.
Yeah. So see, XPath has can lot many combinations we can derive. Similarly, the CSS and even we can derive for any DAM locator mechanism. Let's say here I have a cheat sheet for a locator group, but it will be used as per the need. So you have to prepare those combination whatever you want to define. Let's here I have the cheat sheet that you can use, but that is quite hard to understand. So that's why I have tried to put it down to the PPT thing. You can see here that if you want to locate a whole web page, then XPath will be /HTML. For the CSS, it will be only HTML, and for the DOM, it will be document element. So there will be a lot many possibilities that can derive as a combination of to locate your element, but it will be explored one by one. Once we will try to deal with a lot many applications or a variety of scenarios we can see. So these are the few cheat sheets you can use, like where you can try to, but don't try to mug it up, right? Most often try to make it quite simple here, because the idea is all about to reach onto the specific element. So it should be either by some add-ins which can easily find out a specific element, or if not, you can try to prepare such kind of syntaxes then after. So what you can do is for that Mercury Tools website or for this Facebook website, you can try to deal with the locators today, and just let me know if you have any doubt today. Yeah, you can just raise the question now for today's session if you have any. And then in the tomorrow session, we will continue with another few XPath mechanism. I will send this PPT to you, and I will also try to upload the video today of this session, so that you will get a chance to go with the JUnit first, and then after a locator thing, if any. Clear? Any doubt?
Yeah, Basant. Yeah, you can send the video also later, but this documents, can you send it by today itself so that we can go through tonight and
Yeah, sure.
we'll get any doubts? Yeah. Video we can wait for some time, but this document you please send it today itself.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so we'll meet tomorrow for the same time, and just do or spend some time, team, right? So that if any doubt will be there, then we can clear it out right away on a same day or on a next day with that topic. Okay. Yeah, so we'll meet tomorrow.